Can everybody hear me? I got this thing on good enough? Go ahead and bring your heifer on out and follow her, if you would, please. What a great class of market heifers to start off our show here this afternoon. Really interesting pair at the top end, I think, and for me, the ideal type of a package and design is the one the young man has in this black and white heifer. I really like the way that she squares up from the top down. You study her down her top, and she's progressively gets wider muscled as we work our way back from that 13th rib back into that hip. I like the amount of bone. I like the foot size. I like the way that she gets out and patterns up, particularly on the move as well. Maybe not quite as secure in some of the areas when we talk about foot placement and cushion, maybe as the heifer that comes right behind her, but I think that's awful critical on a heifer that really patterns up and puts a lot of good things together from a total package and total design aspect. I really like the black heifer on the move. I just talked about that. She's super good all the way down to the ground. I think she gets out and she floats. She really has a lot of angularity and correctness in through all four corners of her skeletal features. I think she maybe just gives up some of that boldness to that forward part of her rib. Maybe doesn't have quite the flare of muscling as we work our way back down in through that lower quarter at times, but really nicely patterned heifer that is a really nice way to come into that second spot. The couple of Shar-Cross heifers that come third and fourth, this one's a little more moderate frame that comes out in the third spot, and I think she mostly complements our top two from a quality aspect and from a smoothness standpoint as well, in a way that everything's so organized in her skeleton. She has a lot of smoothness in those transition segments. She's got some power down her top as well, maybe just not quite to the extreme that you see in the two heifers above her. The heifer that comes fourth right after her is a big-bodied, big-centered, thick-ended type of a female, and you really appreciate that about her. The amount of product that she has down her top and out of her hip and the extra amount of shape is truly impressive. Doesn't have quite the overall smoothness to her makeup versus the three that go out in front of her. I like to clean her up at times, maybe in those lower extremities, particularly off of those rear two. The young man's black heifer that comes next simply needs to be fixed from a structure aspect. I think we need to broaden her in those underpinnings and gain her a little more base width as we watch her go, with a little more security and less deviation through that hock and through that knee as we watch her hit all the way down to the ground. The big black and white heifer that comes next is the heaviest in terms of weight per day of age of any that's out here within this lineup. She's truly a powerful female, and again, you could adjust her structurally. Maybe you could tip that pelvis one way or the other to gain a little more balance out of that rear 1/3. Just a really useful, functional type of a female that's got a ton of meat and muscle to her as well. The next two heifers in the lineup, the young man's solid black heifer that goes out next is one. We need to drop her down in that lower rib, open her up underneath, and afford her a little more volume and capacity in that lower 1/3. The bronco-headed heifer that comes next is one that could be adjusted structurally in terms of the correctness, particularly up the top of that scapula and the top of that hip. Work your way down with a little more angularity and correctness could certainly help her. The next bronco silver heifer that comes after her is one that's got a ton of shape, ton of meat and muscle, just gets a little overpowered from a structural quality aspect. And then the black heifer that rounds out this set is one that gets too elevated in her lower body shape. She gets too parallel in her lines. We need to drop her down, add some sweep to that underline. A little more volume and capacity through that center could certainly help her when we view her with the rest of the class.
Get to the results in just a moment on that class, but tell you what's up next. Market beef, steers, class 1751, weight range 1050 to 1160 is coming in the ring. 1050 to 1160. Here's the results on that first class of market heifers. The only class of market heifers, 1701. First place, 219, Cade Schweitzer, Larimer County, the weight 1050. In second, 205, Denton Wilbanks, Bent County, the weight 1185. In third, 134, Jordan Christensen, Garfield County, the weight 1050. In fourth, 144, Brandon Hill, Logan County, the weight 1349. In fifth, 234, Jackson Walker, Weld County, the weight 1180. Sixth, 177, Clara Reynolds, Canillos County, the weight 1377. In seventh, 130, Trexton Allen, Cheyenne County, the weight 1050. Eighth, 125, Riley Joseph, Weld County, the weight 1170. 9th, 206, Aaron Temple, Bent County, the weight 1139. 10th, 122, Reese Elwood, San Miguel County, the weight 1057. Coming in the ring at this time, Class 1751 Market Steers, weight 1050 to 1160. 1050 to 1160. Once again, our judge from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor.
Well, the truth, well, it hurts to say. I'm gonna pack up my bags and I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna.
We have some important messages to read to you from the Colorado State Fair Board of Authority and General Manager Scott Stoller. They want to thank you for taking the pledge of health to protect other exhibitors, staff, and community. They appreciate your commitment to follow state and local orders to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Remember to adhere to all posted signs and staff instruction regarding COVID-19 safety guidelines. And please practice physical distancing of at least 6 feet from other persons who are not part of your household. And to reduce the exposure of E. coli and other ailments, please do not consume food or beverages inside the barns. Please use the picnic tables outside to enjoy your snacks and beverages. Don't forget to wash your hands. Once again, thank you for doing your part to help the Colorado State Fair continue to showcase our talented youth. Please continue to follow all posted guidelines regarding masks and physical distancing. This will ensure that the fair will be able to remain open for the duration and not be forced to shut down due to non-compliance of public health orders. They appreciate your cooperation and continued compliance.
But before I get to going, I got to say, there was a time, oh woman, when you used to shake it for me. But now, all you do is just treat me cold. Ain't gonna take it no more, gonna walk out the door. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. No good no more, more. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I wait up for you almost every night. You don't treat me and I'm hurting no so bad 'cause you don't treat me right. Oh, woman, you know I love you so, but you're so mean to me, baby. I'm walking out the door. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. No good no more. I know you used to love me in every way, but now I'm giving it up, and I'm tired of crying, babe. I can't stand it no longer. Hurts me to say, but I'm packing up my bags and going far away. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Lover, 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 you don't treat me no good no more. Treat me good no more.
And I want to take just a moment to thank and congratulate the All-State 4-H Livestock Judging Team members. For the seniors, we don't have time to read the bios, but the seniors include Elbert County's Anna Owens, Routt County's Jess Deal, Weld County's Jed Sidwell, La Plata County's Taylor Jenkins, Routt County's Josie Myring, and Routt County's Caitlin Friedemann. The junior team consists of La Plata County's Brock Fassett, Weld County's Cal Sidwell, Weld County's Courtney Steinkamp, Logan County's Tyler Thomas, Logan County's Bo Carlson, and Routt County's Emily Rossi. Also want to make mention of our official livestock photographer for the Colorado State Fair, none other than Beverly Englert Photography. You can check out the pictures taken in the ring and purchase pictures online and view the pictures and purchase them from the goat and hog shows at BeverlyEnglertPhoto.com. And we'll have a ticker running across the top of the webcast that'll have the information on there for you as well. as we run through the Market Beef Show. But thanks to Beverly Engler Photography, the official livestock photographer of Colorado State Fair. She does some great work, folks. I've seen the pictures. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that came out a little country, but every word was right on the money. And I got you smiling, honey, right back at me. Now hold on, 'cause I ain't done. There's more where that came from. Well, you know I'm just having fun, but seriously, if you'll be my Louisiana, I'll be your Mississippi. You be my little Loretta, I'll be your Conway Twitty. You be my sugar baby, I'll be your sweet iced tea. You be my honeysuckle, I'll be your honeybee. Your kiss just said it all. I'm glad we had this talk. Nothing left to do but fall in each other's arms. I could have said I love you, could have wrote you a line or two. Baby, all I know to do is speak right from the heart. You'll be my soft and sweet, I'll be your strong and steady. You be my glass of wine, I'll be your shot of whiskey. You be my sunny day, I'll be your shade tree. You be my honeysuckle, I'll be your honeybee. You be my Louisiana, I'll be your Mississippi. You be my little Loretta, I'll be your Conway Twitty. You be my sugar baby, and I'll be your sweet iced tea. You be my honeysuckle, and I'll be your honeybee. I'll be your honeybee. Every day I drive to work across Flint River Bridge, 100 yards from the spot where me and Grandpa fished. There's a piece of his old fruit stand on the side of Sawmill Road. He'd be there peeling peaches if it was 20 years ago. And what I wouldn't give to ride around in that old truck with him. If heaven wasn't so far away, I'd pack up the kids and go for the day. Introduce them to their grandpa, watch them laugh at the way he talked. Find my long lost cousin John, the one we left back in Vietnam. Show him a picture of his daughter now. She's a doctor and he'd be proud. Tell him we'd be back in a couple of days. In the rearview mirror, we'd all watch him wave. Yeah, losing them wouldn't be so hard to take if heaven wasn't so far away. Hug all three of those girls we lost from the class of '99. And I'd find my bird dog Bo, take him hunting one more time. Ask Hank why he took those pills back in '53. Janice sang the second verse of me and Bobby McGee. Sit on a cloud and visit for a while. It'd do me good just to see them smile. If heaven wasn't so far away, I'd pack up the kids and go for the day. Introduce them to their grandpa, watch him laugh at the way he talked. Find my long lost cousin John, the one we left back in Vietnam. Show him a picture of his daughter now. She's a doctor and he'd be proud. Tell him we'd be back in a couple of days.
Well, pretty competitive class, this first set of these lightweight steers, and young man, the orange steer that's going to come out and win the class, I think does so quite handily. He's by far and away the best built calf within this lineup. You study this one all the way down to the ground, he certainly has enough substance to him and enough structure underneath of him to go ahead and be out here and be pretty sound moving and one of the sounder made steers within this lineup. And then you study the muscling structure and how much delineation of that muscling that you can see up there, just a ton of shape down that top and out of that hip. I expect this one, when he gets up there another couple of 100 pounds, he's going to be a force to be dealt with. Young lady silver steer that comes next is the one that complements our class winner from a type and kind aspect. I don't think he's perfect in any regard. I think he does have an advantage of shape and muscling down that top and out of that hip versus the steer that follows him. Would like to change him structurally up through that shoulder. He gets a little more vertical from the one point to the next in that scapula and through that knee. I think if you fix that structural aspect to him, that one's really designed quite nicely from the side. I love the balance. I love the smoothness to his profile, the symmetry to his lines. I think he's just maybe just not as extended off of both ends of his spine versus the two steers on either side of him, and that's where he has to give up some of that extra weight and some of that extra advantage in terms of length of loin. And that's what this steer has. It's in third. Tremendously long spine, long body type of a calf, and you love that about him. He's got that extra product down that top because of that. Albeit maybe a little bit longer, he gets a little more concave through that rib cage. He gets a little flatter from the back side of that shoulder all the way back to that 13th rib, and doesn't expand enough up top in terms of muscle shape to that loin edge from side to side versus the two steers in front of him. And then he can certainly handle his hock better. We need to shove that hock back up underneath that pin set and align it more correctly. In the way that he gets out and goes, he wants to get up underneath of himself, and that really detracts from the balance of the way that one analyzes within this class. The calf that comes after him, this splashed up colored one that comes next, is one a little more elevated through that lower 1/3. He gets a little more elevated through that flank, doesn't have quite the muscle shape as well when we study him, and he's just not as smooth in his overall makeup today as the three steers above him. Young lady steer that comes next has some nice shape and some nice advantages in terms of muscling down his top and out of that hip versus the calves that are directly behind him. We too could fix this one structurally, see him get out and motor with a little more athleticism, a little more fluidity and smoothness to that skeletal gait as we watch him travel, but that's still very useful in terms of form and function when we get him out here and get him analyzed within the lineup. A big, bold sprung calf that comes with this young man's steer here has that extra bit of depth of side and depth of body, and gives him an advantage in terms of that internal volume through that center. He just doesn't have enough muscle shape to go along with it today. Just need to power him up in terms of that shape and dimension of center mass to really get him to move up the line. The next two steers within the lineup get a little out of balance in terms of their muscle to fat ratio. Get a little flatter at times. They don't have quite the natural dimension of muscle shape when we study them down their top, even out of their hip and down in through that quarter as well. The next two steers that round out a really nice set. This one the young lady has here, a little coarser made in terms of his structural design. We need to loosen him up and see him angled a little better off of both ends. The young man's baldy calf that goes out behind just gives up too much power and performance today to move him up any higher, but still a good calf in his own right.
Here's the results on Class 1751 Market Steers, our first class within that Market Steer division. First place, 155, Gage Kalkak. Moffat County, the weight 1150. In second, 196, Cassidy Schofield, Otero County, the weight 1130. In third, 189, Caden Franklin, Rio Blanco County, the weight 1160. In fourth, 169, Hayden Page, Washington County, the weight 1135. In fifth, 124, Tegan Schleter, La Plata County, the weight 1155. In sixth, 114, Ian Jackson, Alamosa County, the weight 1115. In seventh, 141, Madeline Unruh, El Paso County, the weight 1140. In eighth, 199, Tegan Schleter, La Plata County, the weight 1115. Ninth, 154, Afton Caucac, Moffat County, the weight 1050. In 10th, 126, Daughtry Allen, Cheyenne County, the weight 1050. Coming in the ring at this time, our second class of market series, class 1752. 1752, the weight range 1175 to 1227. 1175 to 1227. For those of you watching over the barn, 1753, class 1753, you're on deck. Thank you.
Times. Oh, y'all get your drinks up high, everybody feeling alright. Damn right, 'cause tonight is bottoms up. Throw it on down, rock this quiet little country town and get up. Drop a tailgate on your truck, find a keg and fill your cup. Kick it on back, pretty little mama looking at you like that. Make you wanna slide on in like, girl, what's up? Tonight is bottoms up. Throw it on down, rock this quiet little country town and get up. Drop a tailgate on your truck, find a keg and fill your cup. Kick it on back, pretty little mama looking at you like that. Make you wanna slide on in like, girl, what's up? Yeah, tonight is bottoms up. Get 'em on. Tonight is bottoms up. Get 'em up. Damn, I used to love this view. Sit here and drink a few. Main Street in the high school. Lit up on Friday night. Down there, it's another touchdown. Man, this year's team is stout. I can hear them going crazy. And up here, so am I. Think about you sitting there saying, I hate this, I hate it. If you couldn't stand living here, why'd you take it? Take it, yeah. Me back. My hometown. 'Cause this is my hometown. All the colors of my youth, the red, the green, the hope, the truth, are beating me black and blue, 'cause you're in every scene. My friends try to cheer me up, I get together at the Pizza Hut. I didn't have the heart to tell that was our place. These sleepy street lights on every sidewalk, side street, you shed a light on everything that used to be. Give me back my hometown, 'cause this is my hometown. Champion Jack. hometown, 'cause this is my hometown. Won't you come roll with me, slow, fast, full speed? Girl, wherever sweet time takes us, hang with me down this old road. Only God knows where we'll go. Don't matter long as I've got your love. I don't ever want to wake up looking into someone else's eyes. Another voice calling me baby on the other end of the phone. A new girl putting on her makeup before dinner on Friday night. No, I don't ever want to know. No other shotgun rider beside me singing to the radio. Slide over nice and close. Lay your head down on my shoulder. You can fall asleep, I'll let you dream. Life ain't nothing but a dream. Don't wanna be cruising through this dream without you. I don't ever wanna wake up looking into someone else's eyes. Another voice calling me baby on the other end of the phone. A new girl putting on her makeup before dinner on Friday night. No, I don't ever wanna know. No other shotgun rider beside me singing to the radio. No other shotgun rider. I don't ever want to wake up looking into someone else's eyes. Another voice calling me baby on the other end of the phone. A new girl putting on her makeup before dinner on Friday night. No, I don't ever want to know. No other shotgun rider beside me singing to the radio. Oh.
Go ahead and peel your steer on out. Well, this is a really good class. I think we got a pretty nice top end, pretty easy class winner in my mind. It's not hard to find this guy. Really smooth, well balanced, proportional in terms of muscle shape, body depth, length of side. Everything just goes together quite nicely. He's not the most jacked fronted steer in the world, and I don't think he needs to be, because of the way that he's made from there on back is just so right in terms of the muscle to fat ratio, the balance from that top line down in through that lower rib, how he handles his feet and legs, and then all that muscle shape down that top and out that hip. That's just a really good steer, and I think he's still got some time to go as well. I think where you got to decide what to do is in second and third. You're going to either use this red steer that's just got more power, more shape, more dimension of center mass. You study him down his top, he really explodes in terms of muscle shape from the back side of that scapula all the way back in through that hip. Just progressively gets wider and wider and wider, and then explodes out of the top of that pelvis. Transitions a ton of muscle shape down low through that stifle and quarter, and that's where he has a decisive advantage over this black steer here in the third spot. I think you could certainly correct him structurally. There's times where he wants to get a little more elevated and vertical through that front 1/3. He doesn't want to handle his rear two quite as nicely as the steers on either side of him, but he's one that just has so much power and so much dimension. And then you look at the turn to the rib and the shape and the design to that rib. I think he just goes with that class winner with just a little more smoothness and a little more complementary nature than the steer that comes into the third spot. There's undoubtedly this calf in third has a big advantage in terms of height and size and scale and length from nose to tail. I appreciate that about him. I love that length of spine. I love how expansive he is off of both ends of that spine. It's just where you study him down his top, he gets a little concave, he gets a little flatter about that forerib, he gets a little more A-frame in terms of muscle shape compared to those two in front. We just need to explode him with a little more power and maybe even drop him down through that lower 1/3 to ideally balance him out in that underline to really give him the correct balance and symmetrical design that you see within those first and second place steers. The orange steer that comes next is one that does have that balance from the side. I love this one. I love the proportions. I love the way he's drawn out. I think he's really, really neat off of the profile. Is where I draw issue with him is just on both ends when we step around behind him or step around in front of him. He just gets a little flatter made. He doesn't have the natural dimension and muscling that those steers in front of him do, but I love the pattern. I love the look. I think power him up a little bit, get him up there to the upper weight range. I think that one could be really, really neat on down the road. The baldy calf that comes next is another one. Patterns out extremely well. You love that about him. He's got some depth of side. He's got some depth of forerib. Just gets a little too plain in his muscle shape. Doesn't have quite the natural dimension of that center mass to get him up any higher today. Same can be said about the young lady saw the black steer. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this one's kind of got a little more Angus breed character built into his genotype than a lot of the other ones that are out here, just because of the way that he's shaped down that top and out of that hip. I think that's a good feeding type of a steer. It's got a lot of cutability and doability built into him. He just doesn't have the flair for the show ring, the overall look and balance and eye appeal today to move him up any higher. Black and white steer young man has that comes next. Big-ended, thick-ended type of a steer. A ton of meat and muscle, gets too round out of that hip. He gets too uncoordinated off of all four corners when we ask him to go. He just doesn't have the balance to his structure to move him up any higher. The blue roan calf that comes after him is one that's got some balance and smoothness and eye appeal off to the side. Again, just gives up too much power and shape and natural dimension and muscling today to move him up the line. Same can be said about the two calves that round out the class. Just get a little flatter and a little plainer in their muscle shape today, and we can certainly fix them structurally at times to move them up any higher. But a good class of steers from top to bottom with a really nice top end.
There's results on Class 1752 market steers. First place, 107. Lear Hansen, Kit Carson County, the weight 1223. In second, 165. Hallie Lewis, Logan County, the weight 1190. In third, 128. Jacqueline Ellen, Cheyenne County, the weight 1227. In fourth, 113, Sydney Jackson, Alamosa County, the weight 1227. In fifth, 170, Keith Page, Washington County, the weight 1185. Sixth, 198, Kara Sitwell, Weld County, the weight 1200. In seventh, 120, Zachary Griffith, Morgan County, the weight 1190. In 8th, 201, Logan Teeter, Garfield County, the weight 1180. 9th, 142, Delaney Hilgens from Boulder County, the weight 1190. 10th, 147, Tessa Ivy, Douglas County, the weight 1175. That'll move us to our next class of market steers, class 1753. 1753, the weight range 1230 to 1263, 1230 to 1263. This is class 1753 coming in the ring. For those of you watching over in the barns, class 1754. 1754, please report to the holding pen. 1754 to the holding pen. Thank you. Once again, if you got friends or family around the state, nation, or globe who'd like to watch the Junior Market Beef Show, tell them not to watch it on Facebook. Because we're pushing music in the background, Facebook shuts it off, even all the audio. So they're not getting class placings. So make sure they watch it on the livestream.com/barn media page, or just go to coloradostatefair.com. Don't watch it on Facebook because they keep dropping the channels. So just want to get that out there, everybody.
Tuesday night, crowded bar, some guy lights a cheap cigar. Bartender yells at him, so he walks out and you walk in. Right through that cloud of smoke, catcalls and dirty jokes. Scan the room a couple times, find a seat right next to mine. Lonely eyes, well it sure looks like you just might for something, whoa, look at me.
before we get into this class of these steers. A little more competitive up here at the top end than what we've seen thus far, and I think we've got a high quality set of 4 in particular up here at the top end. I think one that just really screams at you when you get him out here and you start to analyze him from any angle. He's just put together so extremely smooth from end to end and from top to bottom. Really expands a lot of muscle shape down that top and out of that hip. Probably the one that commits the most muscle shape in terms of his transition segments of the backside of that pin, down in through that stifle in particular, and how he fulfills that commitment to that muscling down in through that twist. You body him up from the side just like he is right here, draws out a really neat picture. It's just the right design, the right look, and the right style and balance for me today to get him up here at the top end pretty quick. The 2 steers in second, third, let's go ahead and bring both of them out here. There's some things that you like about each of these calves. Right there at the end, you start to study the young man in the purple shirt, and this calf right here. He's just a little smoother. He's just a little softer over the top part of that rib cage. He fulfills that conditioning on the outside of those ribs with a little more softness and a little more firmness. At times, he draws out a really nice picture up top. He flares back wide when you talk about that center part of that loin, and then he fulfills it right there at that hip loin junction and flares out into a great big massive hip with a little more smoothness and a little more softness than the calf that comes right behind him. You watch this guy get out and move, and you love him on his feet and legs. He just gets out and motors and floats with a lot of fluidity and a lot of athleticism. Appreciate that about him. The calf here in third, you love the style, the look from the side. I think he's a pretty stout featured type of a steer. He's one that you certainly appreciate the shape out of that hip from that pin down in through that stifle. Gets a little raw, like I just talked about, over that top, right behind that shoulder, over those rib cage, particularly out of that 11th, 12th, 13th rib. Gets a little bare, gets a little uncoordinated in his condition handling right there. I think given a little more time, maybe you can get that on him and soften him up and smooth him up. Certainly add to his advantage when we analyze him with the rest of them out here. Young lady steer that's giving her fits. He's just wanting to get out and motor, just wanting to kick up his heels a little bit. But this one, once you do get him stopped and you get him analyzed with the rest of the class, he's got a lot of good things to offer. Gets a little flat at times out of that lower quarter, gets a little vertical through that shoulder. You'd like to set him back in that knee and correct him up through that front 1/3, but that's still an awful good feeding type of steer. You love the rib shape and you love the design. That Charolais cross steer that comes next is one that's got some balance and some smoothness to him when you get him on the standstill. It's just when we watch him out on the move is where we want to draw issue with some things. We'd like to set that spine down in a little lower at the front side of that pelvis, align it a little more correctly all the way out through that tail head. He wants to roll off in through that hip and through that pin set. He wants to gather up underneath of himself at times and maybe just not move out with quite the authority and quite the smoothness with the rest of the class. The next 2 steers within the lineup, calves that you like on the profile. They've got some balance, they've got some eye appeal. Maybe they get a little tucked up through that flank and forerib at times. We could certainly drop them down through that lower 1/3, add a little smoothness to their overall makeup and particularly into those transition segments, and power them up when we talk about muscling capabilities when we get right around behind them. The next 2 steers within the lineup, this young lady's black calf that comes next is one that's got a high degree of quality on the profile. You love that about him. Long, smooth made over that top. He's got a nice look through that front 1/3. He just gets simply overpowered in terms of shape and dimension to move him up any higher. The silver steer that comes next is one you really like him in terms of that broadness down that top line. He just gets a little concave and a little tucked up in those underpinnings. We could certainly correct him off of all 4 corners as we watch him travel as well. And then the young lady's black steer that rounds out the class. Really long-sided. You like that about him. Got a good feeding look. Got a good amount of doability built into him as well. A lot of form and function within this steer. Just not the overall design and eye appeal today to move him up any higher.
Once again, those placings done by our judge from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. Here are the results on Class 1753. First place, 232, Colby Weber, Phillips County, weight 1235. In second, 231, Chase Williams, Larimer County, the weight 1263. In third, 186, William Demir from Los Animas County, the weight 1230. In fourth, Whitley Schweitzer, exhibitor 218. Larimer County, the weight 1252. In fifth, 187, Jordan Sidwell, Weld County, the weight 1240. In sixth, 156, Gage Kokak, Moffat County, the weight 1240. Seventh, 137, Emma Fassett, La Plata County, the weight 1255. In eighth, 138, Marianne Fawcett, La Plata County, the weight 1230. Ninth, 158, Lacey Laca, Pueblo County, the weight 1230. In 10th, 131, Shelby Barnes, La Plata County, the weight 1250. Coming to the ring this time, this is class number 1754. 1754, weight range 1270 to 1295. 1270 to 1295. For those of you watching online, the next class needs to report the holding pen is 1755 market steers. 1755, please report the holding pen. Thank you.
There's not enough rain in Oklahoma to wash the sins out of that house. There's not enough wind in Oklahoma to rip the nails out of the past. Shatter every window till it's all blown away. Every brick, every board, every slamming door blown
Hey, it's Big D and Bubba, and we are live on location. We want you to come on out because this is not just a party, it's a parking lot party with Lee Rice.
Johnny's firing up his Coleman grill. We got 24 tall boys on the chill. Yeah, 14 of them's mine. A little Marshall Tucker on the radio. You know, we just catch a little groove before the show. We ain't playing nothing slow at the parking lot party. A tailgate buzz, just a sipping on suds. Ain't never too early to light one up, fill up your cup. Cause there ain't no party like the pre-party. And after the party's the after party at the parking lot party. Well, the opening band is doing sound check. Man, they sound pretty good. Hell, I ain't even bought no tickets yet. Yeah, but that's alright, we don't care. Cause all the pretty girls are sitting right here, kicking back in a lawn chair at the parking lot party. A tailgate buzz, just a sipping on suds. Ain't never too early to light one up, fill up your cup. Cause there ain't no party like the pre-party. And after the party's the after party at the parking lot party. I'll pass me them chicken wings now. Old Tom is pulling his guitar out. Whoa, it's about time to pass that shine around. Hey, the show's about to start, but we ain't about to leave. Hey, it's one a hell of a time and it's all for free at the parking lot party. The tailgate buzz, just a sipping on suds. Ain't never too early to light one up, fill up your cup. Cause there ain't no party like the pre-party. And after the party's the after party at the parking lot party. Oh yeah, now come on. Parking lot party. Oh, they gonna have to tow my ass out here. Parking lot party. Oh man, damn, you're up. Parking lot party. Parking lot. Think I ever seen that before. Parking lot party. Tailgate buzz, just sipping on suds. Ain't never too early. Light one up, fill up the cups. Cause there ain't no party.
If you're going out with someone new, I'm going out with someone too.
Interesting trio up here at the top end, and you know, there's a lot of give and take amongst all three of these. They're all three a different type and kind. We've got the two outliers in first and third, and we've got the middle of the road steer there in the second spot. And I think you need to decide what you like and what you don't like and where your personal preferences lie, and that's going to dictate what you're going to do. You know, I'm a breeding cattle guy by nature. I think there should be a lot of structural correctness put into these steers. I think there's certainly some things we can fix structurally about the first and second and third steers. I don't think it's to an degree to where you have to really fault them super hard because of it. I think the steer that comes into the first spot is one, we could fix him off of those front two. I could set him in a little flatter about that shoulder, but you've got to have some of that roundness to that shoulder design to go out and have that much spring of rib and to have that much hip shape. He's a powerful individual when you talk about one just spread to that pelvis, muscling from pin to pin and from hook to hook, and then how he transitions it down into that stifle is just exemplary. Really good in terms of bone work and foot size. I'd like to square him up off all four corners. I don't think it's to a degree that you can severely fault him and get him below the first spot, because this thing draws out such a wicked outline that it's pretty impressive. To be that long from nose to tail and still be able to hold himself together in that spine the way he does, and with the showman that is really not that big. He's done, you can tell there's been a ton of work put into this thing. I commend the young man and everybody that's helped you. You've done an awesome job to get that thing to come out here and look like that. Congratulations. I think the young lady's calf there in the second spot is one that, to be quite honest with you, if he was that much thicker, I think you could win the class. Because I prefer the way you kind of fit in the middle. I'm more of a conservative, I think, by nature, and I really don't like to pick outliers on one side or the other. I'd rather shoot that middle gap, even though, like Mr. Miyagi says, that's the wrong thing to do. You need to either be on the right side of the road or the left side of the road. You walk down the middle, you're going to get squished like a grape. But for all intents and purposes of judging, I like the middle of the road steer here. He's middle of the road in terms of frame, in terms of size, scale, and length. He's just not thick enough to compete with that one that wins the class. He gets a little narrow at the top of his pelvis. He doesn't have as much flair and natural shape and dimension of muscle when we work our way down low. I think you can add just a little bit of delineation of that muscling on that one, and I would feel super secure putting him at the top end of the class. I think the young man steer in the third spot's unique in his type and kind. Because he's the other outlier. In terms of that moderation of that frame, he's a little boxier looking, super square by any means, but he's a little boxier, he's a little shorter coupled at times, and because of that, when you get him out on the move, he wants to walk outside of his body. He doesn't want to have quite the fluidness and the ease, particularly off of those rear two, and that's really a detriment when you have two steers that stand in front of him like we do within this class. I think he's exceptional in terms of muscle shape. I love the width of top. I love the width of hip. I love how he carries all that muscle shape down low through that twist and stifle. I love the way he bodies up in that underline. Look how uniform that underline is and how it just makes everything blend together in such a well-proportioned and well-balanced package. I just maybe like to add a little elongation to the vertical bones, stretch him off of both ends of that spine, and see him walk with a little more fluidity, a little more smoothness, and I could certainly let him fight a little harder for one of the top two spots within the class. Another wicked outline steer is the one that comes into the fourth spot. I love the profile, I love the balance, I love the design and the symmetry on this one. He just simply gets overpowered. Talking about muscle, gets way too flat from that hip all the way down to that stifle and quarter. Explode him in terms of muscle shape, and I think that could certainly add a little bit of advantage to him when we view him with the rest of the lineup. Young lady steer, the orange steer that comes next on the profile, I think this one can hold his own with the top end. I think he's built and packaged and designed the right way when we get him on the stop. You study him out of that hip. You look at all that muscle shape back there. Look how wide he is from stifle to stifle and pin to pin. You love that about him. It's just when you get him on the move right there, he just wants to bust apart. Nothing wants to go together. He just gets too piecey out here on the move, and that's just due to the fact that he's just not structurally aligned quite well enough today to move him up any higher. The orange brockle-headed steer that comes after him, big bone, stout featured type of a calf, gets a little raw over that top line, particularly when you study him off the back of that shoulder and through that first, second, third rib. It just gets a little too flat and just set in there a little with too much angle today to really let him blend in and smooth up with the rest of the lineup. The white steer and the red and white steer that come after him, plenty of shape and dimension in these guys, get a little plainer in their structural base. They get a little vertical through their shoulder. They don't handle their hock and hind leg with quite enough authority and softness to move them up any higher, and they get a little plainer in their overall look to get up above the ones that stand in front of the class. And then the next two, saw the black steers that come next, have some structural issues you need to fix off of those rear two, off of the front end. You can certainly add some balance dynamic when we talk about muscle shape. The baldy calf that rounds out the class, a little plainer in his overall look, but still a good feeding type of a steer that's got some doability and got some cutability built into him.
Here on Class 1754 Market Steers. First place, 123, Stetson Gable, Weld County, the weight 1287. In second, 117, Bailey Erickson, Weld County, the weight 1295. In third, 179, T.J. Rice, Larimer County, the weight 1295. In fourth, 215, Luke Seawald, Morgan County, the weight 1284. Fifth, 133, Cashley Chambers, Pueblo County, the weight 1284. In sixth, 148, Keeson Johnson, Rio Grande County, the weight 1270. Seventh, 212, Landon Spate, Delta County, the weight 1278. In eighth, 102, McKenna Long, Fremont County, the weight 1285. In ninth, 194, Cassidy Schofield, Otero County, the weight 1285. And in 10th, 140, Payson Frank, Yuma County, the weight 1274. 11th, 202, Trey Teeter, Garfield County, the weight 1280. Up next in the ring will be Class 1755. 1755, weight range 1298 to 1325. Weight range once again 1298 to 1325. This is Class 1755. Judge once again from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. For those of you watching in the barn across the way, up next to the holding pen, please bring Class 1756. 1756, Market Steers, 1756. Please report to the holding pen. Thank you.
Loving you is fun. I was sitting on a bar stool in a barbecue joint in Tennessee when this old boy walked in and he sat right down next to me. I could tell he'd been through some hard times. There were tear stains on his old shirt. Then he said, you want to know what you get when you play a country song backwards? You get your house back, you get your dog back, you get your best friend Jack back, you get your truck back, you get your hair back, you get your first and second wives back, your front porch swing, your pretty little thing, your bling 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 and a diamond ring, you get your farm and the barn and the boat and the Harley. First night in jail with Charlie. It sounds a little crazy, a little scattered and absurd. What you get when you play a country song backwards. Well, I never heard it said quite like that. It hit me in the face, cause that's where I'm at. I almost fell flat out on the floor. He said, wait a minute, that's not all, there's even more. You get your mind back, your nerves back, your first heart attack back, you get your pride back, you get your life back, you get your first real love back, you get your big screen TV, DVD, and a washing machine. You get the pond and the lawn and the bell and the mower. You go back where you don't know her. It sounds a little crazy, a little scattered and absurd, but that's what you get when you play a country song backwards. Oh, let's play that song. Shot the bull about how it would be if we could turn it all around and change this. C-R-A-P. You get your house back, you get your dog back, you get your best friend Jack back, you get your truck back, get your hair back, get your first and second wives back, your front porch swing, you pretty little thing, you bring, and a diamond ring, you get the farm and the barn and the boat and the Harley. First night in jail with Charlie, get your mind back, get your nerves back, your first heart attack back, and get your pride back, get your life back, get your first real love back, get your big screen TV, DVD, and a washing machine. You get the pond and the lawn and the bell and the mower. You go back where you don't know her. It sounds a little crazy, a little scattered and absurd, but that's what you get when you play a country song backwards.
Watching you go, I couldn't breathe. No, I just couldn't see past you leaving me here all alone. It's funny what a little time does, baby. I'm better than you left me. I'm better than I should be. Better than stronger than a woman, the one that you knew back then. So don't you think I'll take you back like every time before? No, baby, I don't think you know me anymore. I'm better than you left me. Oh. Now here you are, trying to win back my heart, and I bet you thought it'd be easy to do. But baby, I've changed. Now you get a taste of standing on the side where you lose. Ain't it funny what a little time does, baby? I'm better than you left me. I'm better than I should be. Better than I was when you walked out that door. I'm stronger than a woman, the one that you knew back then. So don't you think I'll take you back like every time better than you left me. Oh, better than you left me.
Don't you worry about getting fixed up. When you wake up, you're pretty enough. Look out your window at the cloud of dust. That's my headlights, that's my truck. So come on, baby, don't you keep me waiting. I gotta go, I got a reservation. Tailgate for two underneath the stars. Kisses on your lips when you're in my arms. Whoa. Girl, every now and then you get a night like this. Whoa. This is one that we don't want to miss, no. So come on, baby, let me take you on a night ride. Windows down, sitting on my side. Tick-tock, now we're knocking on midnight. Me and you, girl, running out of moonlight. I wanna hold you till the break of dawn. Hear the crickets sing a riverside love song. Hey, baby, all we got is all night. Come on now, we're running out of moonlight. Girl, I bet you thought I lost my mind. Out of the blue, pulling into your drive. Wonder why I got you way out here. Have you ever seen a sky this clear? Oh, girl, you never look better than you do right now. Oh, heaven, let your light shine down. Come on, baby, let me take you on a night ride. Windows down, sitting on my side. Tick-tock, now we're knocking on midnight. Me and you, girl, running out of moonlight. I wanna hold you till the break of dawn. Hear the crickets sing a riverside love song. Hey, baby, all we got is all night. Come on now, we're running out of moonlight. Girl, every now and then you get a night like this. Whoa, and this is one that we don't want to miss, no. Come on, baby, let me take you on a night ride. Windows down, sitting on my side. Tick-tock, now we're knocking on midnight. Me and you, girl, running out of moonlight. I wanna hold you till the break of dawn. Hear the crickets sing a riverside love song. Hey, baby, all we got is all night. Come on now, we're running out of moonlight. Hey, baby, don't it feel so right? Come on now, we're running out of moonlight. All I wanna do is hold you tight. Come on, come on, come on, we're running out of moonlight. Yeah, we're running out of moonlight.
Well, an interesting top three, and I think a couple of things for me right off the bat. When you talk about one that is super sound and good on the move, it's the steer in third, and you can't deny that about him. But I think you talk about one that can get out and move with enough authority, that has the shape and the dimension. You got to get these two steers up in first and second. For me, just so much more product and natural dimension in these two steers in first and second. And then the young lady steer that I'm going to ultimately win the class with, just smoother and flatter out of that hip from hook to pin. He's angled more correctly back there through that rear 1/3 all the way down through that hock and hind leg as well. Body's up with an exceptional amount of power. Ton of shape down that top and out of that hip, and he transmits that shape of muscling down low through that quarter, twist, and stifle with just a little more authority than the two calves that go out right behind him. I think that's just a pretty neat one up there at the top end of the class. Same could be said about the black and white steer here in the second spot. I think he's one, again, has a ton of meat and muscle, a lot of product built onto him, and that's where he has a big advantage to get up into that second spot. Stouter bone, strong, bigger footed, maybe doesn't get out with quite this smoothness up through that front 1/3, particularly into that shoulder as the two calves on either side of him. But a big flare to that hip from pin to pin and hook to hook, and you have to appreciate that about him, and that's what helps him get up and secure that second spot within the class. Young man steer, like we just talked about, one that is really good all the way down to the ground, and he should be. He should be able to get out and move with more smoothness and more reach off of both ends, because he doesn't have as much muscling to him as the two steers above him. He gets a little narrower gauge, a little flatter made in terms of muscle shape, particularly when we get that view from right here, right behind him. But still, elegant made type of a calf, tremendous amount of balance and eye appeal. Love him off to the side. The white steer that comes next is another one. He's got some look, he's got some style off to the side as well. Maybe doesn't expand enough rib shape right behind the backside of that shoulder to afford him enough smoothness to his overall makeup right there in that one area today, and that kind of detracts a lot from the balance. But a big hip, big ended type of a steer just needs to be smoothed up a little bit to get him up any higher. I like the balance and the eye appeal and the look and the design to this young lady steer that comes next. There's no doubt about it. He really complements those top three quite nicely. We got to pick on him off of those rear two. He wants to get a little too close in those out of those rear hocks, and that's due to the fact he's not spread and pulled apart enough in that rear underpinning to afford him enough base width and enough room back there to really handle that hock and hind leg with less deviation than what we see. The young lady star-headed calf that comes after him is another one. Long spine, level top. We need to fix him out of that hip and stifle to really get him aligned a little better from pin bone down to hock and see that hind leg handled with a little more authority and a little more strength. The red and brockle-faced calf that comes next, another good doing, good feeding type of a steer. You like the form and function built into him. Gets a little plainer in his structure and his overall look to get him up any higher. Same can be said about the black steer that goes out next. He's just not adequate enough structurally. The white sock steer that goes out after him, big, thick-ended type of steer. Gets a little raw over that top and right behind that shoulder for me. And then the silver calf that follows him is one. He's got some things you like about him in terms of muscle shape, but just gathers up a little too high in that loin. Doesn't have quite a natural structure underneath of him today to move him up any higher.
Here's results on Class 1755. First place, 224, Leah Richardson, Yuma County, the weight 1308. In second, 132, Echo Bartels, Mesa County, the weight 1320. In third, 183, Jed Sidwell, Weld County, the weight 1319. In fourth, 150, Colton Johnson, Rio Grande County, the weight 1300. Fifth, 104, Shea Stone, Weld County, the weight 1298. Sixth, 190, Delaney Griman, Larimer County, the weight 1325. In seventh, 103, Jesse Cogburn, Weld County, the weight 1299. In eighth, 203, Cade Temple, Rio Grande County, the weight 1301. Ninth, 127, Brielle Allen, Cheyenne County, the weight 1324. 10th, 220, Cade Schweitzer, Larimer County, the weight 1305. Next in the ring will be Class 1756 market steers, weight range 1328 to 1349. 1328 to 1349. Judge once again from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. For those of you watching online in the barns, up next, we'll need to the holding pen, Class 1757. Class 1757, please report the holding pen, 1757. Once again in the ring, this is 1756, weight range 1328 to 1349. As I mentioned, our judge is from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. He's the cow herd manager for Griswold Cattle Company. Grew up in Illinois exhibiting cattle as a junior exhibitor at the state and national levels. He's worked in the purebred seed stock industry for 25 years with numerous breeds of cattle. He's judged hundreds of livestock shows across the United States, Canada, and in Europe as well, including national cattle shows like the National Western in Denver, Kansas City, and Louisville. He and his wife Ashley, who's to my left, and son Sam, run a small herd of Hereford Maine cows along with a show goat herd around the Stillwater, Oklahoma area. Once again, our judge from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. Once again, just a few reminders from the Colorado State Fair Board of Authority Commissioners and Colorado State Fair General Manager Scott Stoller. If you become ill at any point during a participation here at the Colorado State Fair, please quarantine yourself and do not come to the fairgrounds. If there's a suspected case of COVID-19, please seek the proper medical attention and report the case to a member of fair management. Don't forget to wash your hands often at our convenient hand washing stations located across the fairgrounds, and practice good hygiene by using a tissue to cover coughs and sneezes. Please remember to practice physical distancing of at least 6 feet from other persons who are not part of your household. And please wear a face covering at all times while on the fairgrounds, except while in your stall, while you're eating, or while social distancing inside the show ring. Once again, thank you for participation of the guidelines, for the COVID guidelines, on behalf of the State Fair Board of Commissioners and Colorado State Fair General Manager Scott Stoller.
Sitting right beside you, looking at the sky, girl, thinking about why we're here and where we're going, baby. Here we are, and all I know is pennies make dimes and dimes make dollars, dollars buy gas and long neck bottles. Beer gets a barefoot country girl swaying to a song that's playing. The world starts fading, but bad times make the good times better. Look in her eyes and you're gone forever on a heavenly ride. Yeah, it's a hell of a life. It's a hell of a life. Something about the night, girl, when you got the right girl sitting right beside you. And long neck bottles. Beer gets a barefoot country girl swaying to a song that's playing. It's a perfect combination. Bad times make the good times better. Look in her eyes and you're gone forever on a heavenly ride. Yeah, it's a hell of a life. It's a hell of a life. Bad times make the good times better.
And look at there, folks, it's raining. Hot dog. We could use it up at our place at the barn in northeastern Colorado if somebody can kind of head it that way. We'd appreciate it up that way.
wants on a Saturday night. She got the mood ring, she never the same. The sun 1 minute, then she pouring down rain. And she'll do whatever she wants. So when she moves, every jaw wanna drop. And I do, but I don't wanna stop. I want whatever she's got. Yeah, I want whatever she's got. She got me hanging on the ledge, on the edge of a kiss. All I ever wanna do is this. She got the blue jeans painted on tight, and everybody wants on Saturday night. She got the mood ring, she never the same. I want. She got the blue jeans painted on tight, and everybody wants on a Saturday night. She got the mood ring, she never the same. The sun 1 minute, and she's pouring down rain. And she do whatever she wants. So when she moves, every jaw wanna drop. And I do, but I don't wanna stop. I want whatever she's got. Yeah, I want whatever she's got. She's a little bit complicated, but that's alright. Doesn't matter, I'll keep on waiting for whatever she's got. Yeah, whatever she's got.
I got a girl crush. Hate to admit it, but I got a heart rush. It's slowing down. I got it real bad. Want everything she has. That smiling and midnight laugh she's giving you now. I wanna taste her lips, yeah, 'cause they taste like you. I wanna drown myself in a bottle of her perfume. I want her long blonde hair, I want her magic touch, yeah, 'cause maybe then you'd want me just as much. I got a girl crush. I got a girl crush. I don't get no sleep. I don't get no peace thinking about her under your bed sheets. The way that she's whispering, the way that she's pulling you in. Lord knows I've tried. I can't get her off my mind. I wanna taste her lips, yeah, 'cause they taste like you. I wanna drown myself in a bottle of her perfume. I want her long blonde hair, I want her magic touch, yeah, 'cause maybe then you'd want me just as much. I got a girl crush. ain't slowing down.
I sell my soul just to see your face, and I break my bones just to heal your pain. In these times I need a saving grace, but time is running out and I'm starting to lose my faith. But if I told you I loved you, would it make you wanna stay? I'm sorry for the way I hurt you and making you walk away. And if I wrote you a love song and sang it to you every day.
I didn't walk him around the last time for my benefit. I already knew what I was going to do, but I wanted to show everybody else out there how good this white steer is all the way to the ground in terms of the way that he gets out and moves. He's more correct in every aspect of the way that he's built structurally. And then he couples that with a tremendous look from the side. You poise one up like that right there with that structure and how he can get out and move, how balanced he is, that look with enough shape. Now, he's not as muscular as these two steers. There's no doubt about it. They're on the edge of just, they're out there. That one's got plenty. He's got more than enough. And he's got all that other stuff I just talked about going with him. I don't know how you can get that one below the first part in this class when you watch him get out and move. I love these two steers in second and third from the profile. I just absolutely love how much power they bring to the table. We talk about hip shape, how much mass they have down their top, the look they give you, how well designed they are. These guys have put in a ton of time on these things, and I know it takes a ton of time to get them to look like this, but they simply just don't have enough structural integrity to them for me to get them up and use them over that white steer that wins the class. I think this one's just a smidge better in terms of the way he gets out and moves than the calf in third. I think they're equally as impressive in terms of hip shape and muscle shape. The one in third's got a little better body down there. You talk about lower 1/3 and how he extends that forerib on down, but that one's just a little more correct in the way he gets out and travels. I think he complements that class winner with just a little more structural base to him. This calf in third, just a powerhouse type of a steer. I love that about him. Fix him on all four corners when we watch him move, and I think that could be a class winner. An outlier within the group, young man that comes fourth, the moderate frame steer. I don't hold that against him, but when you get out here in a class like this, and you've got three other steers that are just so much bigger, longer, and taller, and attractive, with just as much muscle shape as what you can pack onto a smaller frame, it's pretty hard to get this one up there within the top end of the class. I do love him on his feet and legs. I think he's awesome. I think he goes right with that white calf in terms of being structurally correct and good all the way down to the ground. Just need to see more of him today in terms of size and scale. The orange steer that comes next is one. I really love the hip shape. I love the amount of muscle shape in the back of his pin on down low. I think he's got the right style to the rib design and how it carries that depth all the way back in through that flank from that forerib. I think he's one that's got a lot of muscle shape down that top. Maybe a little plainer in his lower extremities at times when we watch him get out and travel, but that's still an awful good calf. Steer that's deadly on the profile this young man has that comes next. I love the balance, love the symmetry. I think he's done an awesome job getting this thing to just really profile exceptionally well. You study him down his top, when you get around behind him, he's just too raw right there at the backside of his shoulder. He gets too flat in that first and second rib. He just doesn't have enough smoothness and bold and sprung rib shape to his design to really go ahead and move him up any higher. The next couple of steers in the lineup, a big bodied calf that comes next that does have that curvature to that center rib, gets a little plainer at times off of both ends of his skeleton, maybe doesn't power up quite as nicely when we talk about one through that lower quarter and lower stifle. The young lady steer that comes next is one, a ton of shape, maybe gets a little plainer up through that front 1/3, a little restricted, a little vertical up through that scapula as well. Pushes out a little more condition maybe up through that front 1/3 as well. The white-legged calf that comes next is really a good doing type of a steer, good feeding type of a steer that you can do a lot of things with in a program. A little plainer in his makeup maybe to get him up any higher. Same can be said about the young lady steer that comes next. A little more elevated through that lower 1/3. Need to drop him down, soften him up down in through that lower body shape to ideally balance him with the rest of the lineup. And then the steer that rounds out the class just struggles off all four corners when we ask him to get out and move. I think we could certainly add a degree or two of structural correctness to that one to add to the balance of how he analyzes with the rest of the lineup.
We'll get to the results here real quick, and then we'll talk about weather. And it is raining pretty good out there. Class results for class 1756. First place, 185, Jed Sitwell, Weld County, the weight 1349. In second, 188, Justin Fannebecker, Weld County, the weight 1349. In third, 233, Cash Weber, Phillips County, the weight 1329. Fourth, 208, Dylan Stone, Weld County, the weight 1330. In fifth, 182, Julia Fry, Laramie County, the weight 1339. Sixth, 175, Jake King, Washington County, the weight 1333. Seventh, 191, James Mullins, Douglas County, the weight 1328. Eighth, 192, Abigail Uris, Yuma County, the weight 1341. Ninth, 204, Burke Temple, Rio Grande County, the weight 1335. 10th, 222, Sophia Ritchie, Jefferson County, the weight 1330. 11th, 159, Zebediah Laka from Pueblo County, the weight 1340. So apparently, according to our superintendents, we are in a weather delay, rain delay. Hey, we love the rain, don't we, folks? We've been missing this in Colorado, and I pulled up the radar. It's raining all the way from Fort Morgan all the way down here to Pueblo. So we're getting some moisture. Yeah, you bet. Let's just hope it keeps raining. But you know what? I'm looking where the barn's at, and we are not getting any rain up our way, unfortunately. I don't think it's moving our way either. So we're in a rain delay. Just wanted to quickly mention, coming up tomorrow, our start time is 11 o'clock in the morning. That'll be the Junior Market Lamb Show. And then on Monday at 1 o'clock, we've got the Colorado FFA Heifer Wrangle Show, 3 o'clock, the National Western Stock Show, Catch-A Calf Show. And then on Tuesday, September 1st, we've got the Colorado Electric Cooperative's Junior Livestock Sale at 3:30. Speaking of the sale, if you are watching online or here ringside with us on this weather delay, you need to get pre-registered if you want to bid online to support the 4-H and FFA youth in any of our market shows. You need to go to liveauctions.tv, get pre-registered, get a buyer's number so you can participate and bid online. So once again, go to liveauctions.tv and you can pick up your registered buyer's number and you'll be able to watch it online. Now the State Fair has asked me to provide a webcast of the sale. You will not be able to bid on my webcast, so I want to make sure you don't send anybody to my site that wants to bid, because they won't be able to do so. And I don't want any nasty emails coming to me or text messages. Go to liveauctions.tv. You've got to get pre-registered there to get a buyer's number and bid. We'll have a monitor-only website running for the sale on Tuesday afternoon. That'll be at livestream.com and also at coloradostatefair.com. So hopefully that's clear as mud. Don't forget the official livestock photographer for the Colorado State Fair is Beverly Englert Photography. Check out the pictures taken in the ring. Purchase pictures online. Even the market hog, goat shows are there now. You can purchase pictures online at BeverlyEnglertPhoto.com. At the top of the screen right now, for those watching online, there's her email, or her website, BeverlyEnglertPhoto.com. And in case you missed it, you can watch all the junior market goat and market hog shows online. The archives are available right there right now. So you can tell I'm stalling here. I'm not sure what good it's going to do. We're waiting on Mother Nature to give us a break in the weather. All of our junior livestock shows are dedicated in memory of Mick Livingston and Jared Samber. Mick, of course, was our co-superintendent of all the livestock shows here for many years, and he had just retired a few years back as an extension agent. And then Jared Samber, of course, is our lamb superintendent. But the shows, once again, and boy, do we miss these two guys. General Manager Scott Stoller said in a statement, they touched so many lives, they'll be greatly missed and and never forgotten. And continued prayers for the families of both Mick Livingston and Jared Samber. We know they're watching. As soon as we get one more steer here, we're going to get restarted, as I was just told by the superintendent. So bear with us here just a few more moments, and we will get restarted. That class coming in, by the way, will be class 1757, weight range 1355 to 1398. So as soon as they give us the go-ahead, we get that one more exhibitor here, we'll get started with class 1757, weight range 1355 to 1398.
Me and my woman's done made our plans on the Tennessee River, walking hand in hand. Gonna raise a family, hard settle down, where peace and love can still be found. Old Tennessee River and a mountain man, we get together anytime we can. Tennessee River and a mountain man, we play together in Mother Nature's land. Tennessee River and its mountain home, but I'm going back, leaving today for my homeland, so far away, driving down to Dixie, wasting no.
While we're waiting here, I want to thank Neutrina Feeds. They donated all the junior exhibitor bass for the state fair this year, and Santa Cruz Animal Health donated all the hand sanitizer. So thanks to Neutrina Feeds, Santa Cruz Animal Health. Also like to thank our market beef sponsors, ADM Animal Nutrition, the Cottonwood Cattlemen's Association, Cottonwood Cattle Women Incorporated, and the Cottonwood Livestock Association as well. So thanks to our sponsors.
We play together in Mother Nature's land. Oh, Tennessee River.
I just stand corrected or sit corrected. Market Lamb Show start time 1 o'clock. I didn't mean to freak everybody out. 1 o'clock tomorrow, not 11. I was hoping 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock start time for Market Lamb Show tomorrow. And then on Monday, 1 o'clock FFA Heifer Wrangle, 3 o'clock Stock Show Catch a Calf, and then on Tuesday, September 1st, 3:30 in the afternoon, Colorado Electric Cooperative Junior Livestock Sale. That's what I get for trying to go from memory. I thought it was 111, but it's 111. We're still waiting on one, I think. So just bear with us. Once again, you got to have your masks on if you're inside the building. Have your masks on if you're inside the building. Our general manager, Scott Stoller, is on grounds and he's in the building, so make sure you have your masks on. He said if you don't, we're going to have to pause the show even though we're in a pause. I don't, a double pause, does that work? We'll see. Oh, but it could lead to cancellation of the rest of the show, so put your masks on, please. Please put your I better not say that. Well, he's not, but I think the guy above you is. All right, put your masks on, or we're going to have to pause the show, and he won't restart it, regardless of what the weather is doing. Please have your masks on. I think there's an exemption for the announcer, just so you can hear me. Oh, the new announcer? I will be fired, I guess. Okay. That means no more webcasts, so everybody online start sending your emails to Scott Stoller at co.state.us. Oh, Scott.Stoller, I better get that right. All right. Hopefully we get restarted soon before I really do get canned.
I love her, but it ain't enough. She says I got to learn to loosen up and get a little wild on Saturday night. Make sure she's home before the morning light. The Sunday she's all ribbons and curls. Rock my world, little country girl. Rock my world, drag me out on the floor. I can't dance anymore. One step, two step, get in line. I gotta find a way to make you mine. Rock my world, little country girl. Rock my world.
We are back underway, folks. As long as you got your masks on, Scott says. Get your masks on. All right, here we go. This will be class 1757 market steers, weight range 1355 to 1398. 1355 to 1398. We are back underway.
my car. It ain't about what you're driving or about the gold you're piling. The less I have to worry worry about, the more time I got for smiling. I don't know why everybody wanna die rich. Champagne, new plane, work your way down that list. We try, everybody tries to fit it into that ditch. You can't take it with you when you go. Never seen a hearse with a trailer hitch. Never seen a hearse with a trailer hitch. Everybody wanna die rich. Diamonds, champagne, newest to the new planes. Work your way down that list and we try. Everybody tries to fit it into that ditch. You can't take it with you when you go. Never seen a hearse with a trailer hitch. Never seen a hearse with a trailer hitch.
Jacked up toys, making noise on small town Friday night. Red light running, good time chasing. Guess I've earned this reputation. Probably never shake it, but that's alright. I got a rough side, a wide side, at least a country mile wide, a fighting side after a few. If they wanna see my sweet side, my soft side, my best side, I just point at you. You point at girl, I ain't sure just what it is. It's got me all tore up like this. Your kiss done melted down this heart of stone. I still like to get a little crazy, but something about your loving, babe, it breaks me down and makes me wanna haul ass home. I got a rough side, a wide side, at least a country mile wide, a fighting side after a few. If they wanna see my sweet side, my soft side, my best side, I just point at you, point at you, oh girl, I wouldn't blame you if you tried to change me. Lord knows I'm hard to hold, but I guess you kinda like all of my sides, and I ain't letting you go, 'cause my best side is holding me close. Point at you, yeah. I got a rough side, a wild side, at least a country mile wide, a fighting side after a few. If they wanna see my sweet side, my soft side, my best side, I just point at you. Oh baby, I just point at you. Yeah, girl, I point at you. Oh baby, my best side is you. Girl, I point at you.
Once again, that mask order doesn't apply to the ones in the show ring, but it does apply to everybody outside the ring, and especially those up in the grandstands. Scott Stoller just told me that if you don't get your mask on up in the grandstand area, you will be asked to leave the building and probably asked to leave the premise. So please put your mask on. We don't want to stop the show for that.
Welcome to the H2O Tour, everybody. Nice to see all of you tonight. She's got Brazilian leather boots on the pedal of her German car.
Scott Stoller says thank you, guys. He appreciates it's a lot of work, and if you understood what the pressure he's under from the Department of Public Health and Environment to make sure the show continues, he really appreciates you guys complying with the mask order. He knows it's inconvenient. He hates his mask too, but we all have to have them on to comply with the state regulations and the executive order.
Spanish moss in the moonlight, just another American Saturday night. Oh, that's exactly what we have right here. Got a big toga party tonight down at Delta Chi. They got Canadian bacon on their pizza pie. They got a cooler full of cold Coronas and Amstel Light. It's like we're all living in a big old cup, just fire up the blender, mix it all up. It's a French kiss, Italian ice, margaritas in the moonlight. Just another American Saturday night. Everywhere has something they're known for. Usually it washes up on our shores. My great-great-great-granddaddy stepped off of that ship. I bet he never ever dreamed I'd ever look at something as beautiful as this. Side by side, here we go now. Live from Chicago, it's a French kiss, Italian ice, margaritas in the moonlight. Just another American, just another American. It's just another American Saturday night.
Time to pop that top. And fellas, I know you're ready to to ride. We went crazy, cooped up all winter long, and school is out, so let's get it on. Flip-flop tanks and some white sand, I know the perfect spot. Well, the sunset better set soon so we can get in the mood. Things start getting all heated up when it starts getting cool, yeah. Summer nights, everybody, are you with me? Let that igloo cooler mark your piece of paradise. Summer nights, everybody's feeling sexy. Holler if you're ready for some summer nights. So come on. Better watch your step. Don't let them teeny French bikinis make you lose your breath. Back to the ladies, y'all keep doing y'all's thing. 'Cause everything about you makes me wanna scream. The sun is getting low, there it goes, here we go, here comes the moon. Yeah, things start getting all heated up when it starts getting cool. Yeah, summer nights, everybody, are you with me? Let that igloo cooler mark your piece of paradise. Summer nights, everybody's feeling sexy. Holler if you're ready for some summer night. It's a party down at Padre, big bonfire on the beach. It's Coronas in Daytona, y'all. Well, it's wild and it's free. Summer nights, everybody, are you with me? Let that igloo cooler mark your piece of paradise. Summer nights, everybody's feeling sexy. Holler if you're ready for some summer nights. So come on. Summer nights, everybody, are you with me? Let that igloo cooler mark your piece of paradise. Summer nights, everybody's feeling sexy. Holler if you're ready for some summer nights. Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready for some summer nights? It's summer nights. Come on.
Rolling the bar, me and my crew. Their little plan to get me over you. They hooking me up, yeah, buying me drinks. With 1,000 girls, there's just one thing. I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything. No, I can't close my eyes without you in my dreams. You won't leave me alone, even though I know you're gone. I look around for someone new, but I see you jumping up there with the band, taking me by the hand. Hey boy, come dance with me. Stuck like a melody in my head, in the bed of my truck, by the light of a midnight moon. Baby, I see you. Don't know what you did, but you done it good. You don't know how bad that I wish I could delete you from my phone, find a girl and take her home. But there's just one thing.
Well, we start to get into these later classes and we're getting into that target range on these things in terms of that weight. You're going to see some pretty deep classes, I think. Go ahead, young man. You go on, pull right on up in there. You come right around behind that young lady back there. We're going to see some really good classes and really deep classes, and that's what we've got out here right now. I think we've got a set all the way from front to bottom, from top to bottom, that are just tremendous. This young lady, solid black calf up here, really good in terms of structural base, the soundness. You watch this one get out and move. For as long-sided and as long-spined as he is, holds together beautifully up through that top line. Very soft and secure off of all four corners. I love the way he wants to reach out of that front end. Really wants to push and plant with a lot of confidence off of those rear two, and then he combines that with a tremendous look on the standstill because he's got that extra bit of length and size and scale. That's just a big advantage over this panda-eyed calf here that's come second. No doubt about it, this one's just bodied up and designed excellent. This young gentleman has. I love the look, I love the balance, I love the eye appeal. They've done just a tremendous job getting this one ready for today, and I certainly appreciate that about him. Big flare to that one's top, massive out of that hip, superb in terms of feet and leg design. I like that one quite a bit. Stretch him out, elongate him, a little more size and scale to compete with that one that wins, and I think that could be a very swappable placing up there at the top end. Kind of hard to read the steer in third. He's giving this young man fits. He's doing his best to get out here and get that thing maneuvered around the ring where I can get a good look at him. It's just, it's hard to get a read on him at times. He's just not wanting to cooperate. I do see that one as being a little thicker at the base of that neck. He doesn't have quite the stylishness and the coolestness up there through that front end, but a big top and a big hip to that one, and maybe flares out with just a little more transmission and muscling down in through that stifle, and that's what gets him up over the top of this calf here in the third and the fourth spot. I like this steer. I think he complements our class winner from look and build in through that rib shape design. He just gets a little shorter out of that front end. He gets a little jammed up and shorter coupled up there through the front part of that skeletal design, and he comes back again. Another big top, big flared hip type of a steer. Maybe gives up just a shot of muscling at times down low to some of those ones that stand right above him, and just doesn't have quite the pizzazz and suppleness up through that front 1/3. Young lady steer, kind of wants to fall through the cracks a little bit. He's just not quite the hair coat that you see in the ones in front, and that kind of gets lost at times. He's not overly powerful in terms of bone work or foot size, but he sneaks up on you in terms of hip shape and top shape, and that's what I liked about him. Start to notice that when you get your hands on him. He's certainly got a lot of product built onto that frame. I think he bodies up nicely. He's got a lot of balance and a lot of eye appeal. He just doesn't have the extreme amount of look and density and muscle tissue maybe that the ones that set right above him do within the class. The next pair of steers that comes out really complement each other quite nicely. I like both of them from the uniqueness to their structure, how soft they are in that rear pastern, how they can get out and travel with a lot of comfort and a lot of ease off of all four corners. I certainly appreciate that about them. If we had more natural product in terms of muscle shape on these two, I think they could get up there and fight for the top end of the class. They just get a little flatter at times, a little pinched in that loin, don't have the natural flare and extension of muscling from side to side that the top end of the class does. The next steer and the next two steers within the lineup, really stout made, stout featured animals that you really like and appreciate for that fact. Just get a little out of balance at times. We talk about structural integrity. They just don't have quite the angle that you like to see to get out and maneuver around and be flat enough in certain areas when we watch them get out and travel. Just not as secure off all four corners. Young lady steer that rounds out the class. Long-sided, long spine steer. It's got some product on him. Just need to correct him off of those rear two and ultimately to move him up any higher.
Here's results on class 1757. First place, 181, Emma Richardson, Yuma County, 1380 is the weight. Second place, 174, Cash Pratt, Pueblo County, the weight, 1355. In third, 210, Benjamin Stafford, Custer County, the weight, 1398. In fourth, 209, Benjamin Stafford, Custer County, the weight, 1379. Fifth, 161, Trista Lebsack, Arapahoe County, the weight 1368. In sixth, 160, Trista Lebsack, Arapahoe County, the weight 1395. Seventh, 197, Kelly Kirchall, Elbert County, the weight 1395. In eighth, 146, Lexi Hill, Mesa County, the weight 1385. Ninth, 193, Brock Welp, Yuma County, the weight 1389. 10th, 112, Brady Deal, Larimer County, the weight 1395. Up next, our final class of market steers. Final class of market steers. This will be class 1758. 1758. Weight range 1407 to 1505. 1407 to 1505. After we get the results announced on this class, we'll have a 30-minute break before the grand champion selection. All 9 first place animals will be in the ring for that. We'll announce the second place winners first when we get to that point, then bring in on the first. So after we go through the placings on this class, I'll tell you what time it is for the 30-minute delay, and then we'll have the grand champion drive that'll round out today's show. Once again, our judge is Josh Taylor from Perkins, Oklahoma.
Said goodbye with words cold as ice. I was shaking, watching you go. I couldn't breathe, no, I just couldn't see past you leaving me here all alone. It's funny what a little time does, baby. I'm better than you left me. I'm better than I should be. Better than I was when you walked out that door. I'm stronger than the woman, the one that you knew back then. So don't you think I'll take you back like every time before? No, baby, I don't think you know me anymore. I'm better than you left me. Oh. Now here you are, trying to win back my heart, and I bet you thought it'd be easy to do. But baby, I've changed. Now you get a taste of standing on the side where you lose. Ain't it funny what a little time does, baby? I'm better than you left me. I'm better than I should be.
but it's lawful too late now. Yeah, the cans are on the limo and the rice is on the ground. They're headed for the islands, but hell, I'm already gone. She got a rock, I'm getting stoned. Here's the happy ever after, and here's to balls and chains. Here's to all us haters of old lovers' new last names. And here's to holding up and getting right where I belong. She got a rock, I'm getting stoned. Yeah, I knew that it was over when I heard those wedding bells. That preacher was my jailer, now this bottle is my bail. So much for all that praying, her I do would be high gone. She got a rock, I'm getting stoned. Here's the happy ever after, and here's to balls and chains, and here's to all us haters of old lovers' new last names, and here's to holding up and getting right where I belong. She got a rock, I'm getting stoned. Now come on. So to hell with her and him and that white horse they rode out on. She got a rock, I'm getting stoned. Yeah, she got a rock. I'm getting stoned. Yeah, I'm getting stoned. Yeah, come on.
Well, interesting pair of steers up here at the top end of this class, and some unique things about each one of them, and I think some things that you could certainly change about each one of them as well. I think the calf that's going to start off, the young lady in the purple shirt right here, is one that's just flared out a little wider at the top of that hip. When you study him from hook to hook and pin to pin, he just shows us a lot of muscle shape up top. He flares back across the top of that loin edge with enough flare and dimension and progressiveness as in terms of that width right there. You study him over those last three ribs in terms of the uniform of that conditioning. He really holds himself together in that account quite nicely as well. And then you study this one up there out of that front 1/3. You study him out of that shoulder from the top point to the bottom point. He's more correct in the way that he's laid in about that shoulder in terms of the angle all the way down to the ground and then through that knee versus that calf that comes right behind him. And we get him out in the motion, and that's certainly quite evident. He's just got more reach, more flex, and more pull. Just not enough structural integrity in this calf in second. I think I could live maybe with being bucked over up through that front 1/3 if he had just a shot more muscle shape when we get right around behind him and study him down in through that lower quarter. But he doesn't give up a little bit of shape down there. He gets a little flat, and I think he just needs laid back in his scapula and angled more correctly up there through that front end, because he does have a really nice profile, and he does have a lot of design and a lot of look and a lot of exciting things when you talk about the profile on one. Just a good doing, solid type of a steer is the one that's going to come third. There's no big flashy aspects to this one's build, and he certainly really doesn't need it. I think this one is just good the way he is, just very functional in terms of his form and his build. He's big and he's opened up. He's got a lot of volume through that center. He's got a lot of muscle shape down that top and out of that hip. But when compared to those two up through that front 1/3, he just doesn't have enough flash, enough balance, enough suppleness today to move up any higher. The red and white calf that comes next, just a big, rugged, sturdy built type of a steer that you can do a lot of things with in a feeding program. I think this one's got a ton of meat and muscle and a ton of product built onto him. Probably not going to have quite the cutability that you see in some of the other steers. I think he wants to give up some of that yield grade at times in terms of you study that one down that top and look at some of those fat indicators, but still an awful good type of steer that's got a lot of stoutness built into him. Young man's black calf that comes next. Really long spine, attractive out through that front 1/3, too elevated in his body cavity. He wants to tuck up through that forerib and flank. We need to drop him down, see some more sweep to that underline to fulfill that balance commitment out on that profile, stouten him up out of that hip and hind wheel as well. The young man's White Sox steer that goes out next, very flat form and functionally built type of a steer, just not enough flash, enough balance and substance today to move up any higher. Love the profile on this calf that goes out behind him, long, extended, very symmetrical in his design, just gets too flat, just not enough power, not enough shape. The Charolais cross steer that comes next wants to hunch up in that back. He wants to struggle off all four corners, but on the standstill, I love the openness to the rib. I love the mass to that hip. I love the muscle extension down low. You just need to open him up off of both ends of his spine, see him flex out with a little more ease. The white-legged steer that rounds out the class doesn't have a lot of flash to him. He certainly is one that's a little more coarse in his makeup, but certainly one that's got some doability built into him and some functional aspects in the way that he's drawn out from the side.
Here's the results on our final class. 1758 of market steers. First place 164, Kinley Lewis, Logan County, the weight 1445. Second, 200, Peyton Volishin, Moffat County, the weight 1449. In third, 153, Trace Johnson, Rio Grande County, the weight 1425. Fourth, 111, Brady Deal, Larimer County, the weight 1505. In fifth, 121, Weston Elwood, San Miguel County, the weight 1407. In sixth, 115, Casey Tuxhorn, Larimer County, the weight 1456. In seventh, 167, Dominic Morrow from Pueblo County, the weight 1467. And in eighth, 105, Joshua Wallner, Los Animas County, the weight 1410. In ninth, 195, Blaine Inslee, Morgan County, the weight 1416. We're going to go for 4:30. 4:30 is the start time on the Grand Champion Drive. 4:30 start time for the Grand Champion Drive. Please make sure you share it with all your friends and family that want to watch online. 4:30 is the start time of the Grand Champion Drive.
Take your hands, take your lives, and lay them on me. Well, couldn't you say you do, say you're mine for tonight? Have a heart, bend the truth, even if you don't. Couldn't you mess me up, get in my head, steal my t-shirt, wreck my bed, all night long like you used to, even if you don't. Couldn't you say you do? Well, don't worry about the damage done. Just let those words roll off your tongue. Even if you're lying, well, couldn't you say you do, say you're mine for tonight? Have a heart, bend the truth, even if you don't. Couldn't you mess me up, get in my head, steal my t-shirt, wreck my bed, all night long like you used to, even if you don't. Couldn't you
same nail too long. My ears can't stand to hear the same old song. I don't leave the highway long enough to bog down in the mud. 'Cause I've got rambling fever in my blood. Caught this rambling fever long ago, when I first heard a lonesome whistle blow. And if someone said I ever gave a damn, man, the damn sure told you wrong. I've had rambling fever all along. Rambling fever, the kind that can't be measured by degrees. Rambling fever, ain't no kind of cure for my disease. There's times I'd like to bed down on a sofa, let some pretty lady rub my back, and spend the early morning drinking coffee, talking about when I'll be coming back. Even I don't let no woman tie me down, and I never get too old to get around. I wanna die along the highway and run away like some old highline pole. Rest this rambling fever in my soul. Rambling fever, the kind that can't be measured by degrees. Rambling fever, ain't no kind of cure for my disease.
you open up your eyes, just a matter of time till you'll find he's no good, girl, no good for you. You better get to getting on your goodbye shoes and go, go, go. Yeah, 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 he's no good for you. You better get to getting on your goodbye shoes.
They roll the sidewalks in this town all up after the sun goes down, and say nothing good happens here when midnight rolls around. But laying down would be in vain. I can't sleep with you on my brain, and I ain't anywhere close to tired. Your kiss has got me wired. Girl, you got the beat right, killing in your Levi's. High on your love has got me buzzing like a street light. It's still early out in Cali, baby, don't you wanna rally again? Find a road with no name, lay back in the slow lane. Skies dropping, Jupiter around us like some old train. We'll be rolling down the windows, I bet you will catch a nice second wind. We don't have to go home, we can leave the night on. We can leave the night on. Now all the stars are turning blue, just kiss the clock to 22. Baby, I know what you're wishing for, I'm wishing for it too. Now all the lights are flashing gold, nobody cares how fast we go. Our soundtrack's in the stereo, the DJ's on a roll. Girl, you got the beat right, killing in your Levi's. High on your lovin's got me buzzing like a street light. It's still early out in Cali, baby, don't you wanna rally again? Find a road with no name, lay back in the slow lane. Skies dropping, Jupiter around us like some old train. We'll be rolling down the windows, I bet you will catch a nice second wind. We don't have to go home, we can leave the night on. We can leave the night on. The sun will steal the magic from us soon. So let's take one more trip around the moon. Girl, you got the beat right, killing in your Levi's. High on your lovin's got me buzzing like a street light. It's still early out in Cali, baby, don't you wanna rally? We'll find a road with no name, lay back in the slow lane. The sky's dropping, Jupiter all around us like some old train. We'll be rolling down the windows, I bet you will catch a nice second wind. But we don't have to go home, we can leave the night on. We can leave the night on. We can leave the night on. Buzzing like a street light. We can leave the morning night.
Now I ain't saying them LA ladies don't know what they doing. And I've been in love with New York City 8 times. or two. I had some Seattle coffee, some Chicago wind, some Kansas wheat fields I'd love to see again. But the fireflies play where the cattails grow, and them southern girls, they talk nice and slow with kisses sweeter than Tupelo, honey. Little bit crazy like New Orleans, Memphis blue and Daytona sunny, soft as cotton in some cut-off jeans. Don't you know, ain't nothing in the whole wide world like a southern girl. A southern girl's mama probably taught her how a lady should act, but a southern girl's probably got a barn somewhere out back. She'll get a little hair in her hair, her tires in the mud. She's been caught in the rain and washed in the blood. Like cherries in her coke, takes a little sip, comes over to me with them sunburned lips and them kisses sweeter than Tupelo, honey. Little bit crazy like New Orleans, Memphis blue and Daytona sunny, soft as cotton in some cut-off jeans. Don't you know, ain't nothing in the whole wide world like a southern girl. If you've ever seen Savannah heat up when the stars come out, well then, fellas, come on, you know what I'm talking about. Kisses sweeter than Tupelo, honey. Little bit crazy like New Orleans, Memphis blue and Daytona sunny, soft as cotton in some cut-off jeans. Don't you know, ain't nothing in the whole wide world like a southern girl. Never thought you'd pick up the phone. It's Friday night, you should be out on the town. Didn't think you'd be sitting at home all alone like me. Nothing on TV, nothing to do, nothing to keep my mind off you and me. And the way it was, are you thinking about it now? Because I could be there in 5. One last time. We don't have to be lonely tonight.
Need you, want you, I'm right here.
We don't have to be lonely tonight.
be lonely tonight. That taste, that touch, the fire I miss, those kiss me eyes, your red wine lips on mine, like it used to be. Baby, I want you and you want me, and we don't have to be lonely tonight.
Need you, want you, I'm right here.
We don't have to be lonely tonight.
I know we shouldn't, but I don't care.
I don't wanna be right, I don't wanna be strong. I just wanna hold you till the heartbreak's gone. When the sun comes up, we can both move on, but we don't have to be lonely tonight. I could be there in 5. One more, one last time. We don't have to be lonely tonight.
I need you, and I'm right here.
We don't have to be lonely tonight, tonight,
I walked in, there sat Slim, cleaning up his memory with some sapphire gin. Mr. Payne grabbed my arm and pulled me aside and said, "Kid, are you ready for the wild ride?" I looked up, there she stood. I said, "You didn't look so great." I said, "You look good." Oh, she took her hand, ran it up my thigh and said, "Cowboy, you ready for the wild ride? Come on now, Junior, take the wild ride. See, can you make it on the wild ride? Don't try no shaking on the wild ride. Things start breaking on the wild ride. Yes, it does." Out on the highway, saw my mind, tiny little pieces thrown from side to side. My heart was shattered along with my pride. Guess you can't keep 'em on the wild ride. Come on now, Junior, take a wild ride. See, can you make it on the wild ride? Don't try no shaking on the wild ride. Things start breaking on the wild ride. Yeah, it does. Across the floor, I was trying to leave when I felt something tugging what was left of my sleeve. I heard a little voice with a gold Don't try no shaking on the wild ride. We just might break it on the wild ride. Come on now, Junior, take a wild ride. See, can you make it on the wild ride? Don't try no shaking on the wild ride. We just might break it on the wild ride. I see Main Street closing, miles of for sale signs, and them fields ain't growing fast enough to get us by. I feel the sweet release of a Friday night. For a couple of hours we can run this town till it runs dry. Tip it on back, make it feel good. Sip a little more than you know you should. Let the smoke roll off of your lips. Let it all go, whatever it is, and tip it on back. So grab the girl you came with and set her world on fire. Watch her sway and sing into the music until it's all alright. Yeah, tip it on back, make it feel good. Sip a little more than you know you should. Let the smoke roll off of your lips. Let it all go, whatever it is, and tip it on back. I start drinking. I'm breathing her in and breathing her out. Once I pick her up, I can't put her down. She smokes, I pull her in nice and slow. She's a habit and I can't let go. Blowing rings around my heart, the one she stole. Watching her sway and blow, it's killing me and I know. Can't stop her once you start. She smoke. She'll go floating around like a downtown ballroom gypsy. She goes great with an ice cold beer or a shot of whiskey. Put one in my hand, her on my lips. Man, that's as good as it gives. She smoke, I pull her in nice and slow. She's a habit and I can't let go. I'm blowing rings around my heart, the one she stole. Watching her sway and blow, it's killing me and I know. Can't stop her once you start. She smoke. When the night burns out and we all go home, smell a sweet perfume all over your clothes, like smoke, like smoke. She smoke, I pull her in nice and slow. She's a habit and I can't let go. Blowing rings around my heart, the one she stole. Watching her sway and blow, it's killing me and I know. Can't stop her once you start. She smoke. She smoke. When the night burns out, then we all go home. Smell a sweet perfume all over your clothes. She smoke. She smoke. I'm the son of a third-generation farmer. I've been married 10 years to the farmer's daughter. I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road on my plower, chugga-lugga-lugging 5 miles an hour on my international harvester. 3 miles of cars laying on their horns, falling on deaf ears of corn, lined up behind me like a big parade of late to work, road rage jerks, shouting obscene words, flipping me the bird. Well, you may be on a state paved road, but that blacktop runs through my payload. Excuse me for trying to do my job, but this year ain't been no bumper crop. If you don't like the way I'm driving, get back on the interstate. Otherwise, sit tight and be nice and quit your honking at me that way.
I'm the son of a third-generation farmer. I've been married 10 years to the farmer's daughter. I got 2 boys in the county 4-H. I'm a lifetime sponsor of the FFA. Hey, that's what I make. I make a lot of hay for a little pay. But I'm proud to say I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road on my flower, chugging, lugging 5 miles an hour on my international harvester. Well, I know you got your own deadlines, but cussing at me won't save you no time, hoss. This big wheel wide load ain't going any faster, so just smile and wave and tip your hat to the man up on the tractor, 'cause I'm the son of a third-generation farmer. I've been married 10 years to the farmer's daughter. I got 2 boys in the county 4-H. I'm a lifetime sponsor of the FFA. Hey, that's what I make. I make a lot of hay for a little pay. But I'm proud to say I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road on my flower, chugging, lugging 5 miles an hour on my international harvester. I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road on my flower, chugging, lugging 5 miles an hour on my international harvester.
She had a cross around her neck and a flower in her hand that I picked from the side of Thomas Drive on our way to the sand. We found an old wooden chair, still warm from the sun. Pushed it back, gave me a kiss with Bacardi on her lips, and I was done. And we spent that week wide open, upside down beside the ocean. I didn't know where it was going, just trying to keep my heart on the tracks. I should have known that kind of feeling would last longer than that week did. Blown away and barely breathing. Sunday came and it was over. Now she's got me twisted like an old beach roller coaster. The rest of those days turned into long, crazy nights. When the music got loud, we'd sneak away from the crowd under the boardwalk lights. And with all the things we said, what I just can't get past is the way we let it in. Now I'm wondering where she is, knowing I can't get that goodbye back. We spent that week wide open, upside down beside
Seems like a song playing over and over in my mind where I still hold her. I had the chance and I should have told her. When we spent that week wide open, upside down beside the ocean, I should have known where it was going. Still trying to keep my heart on the tracks, and I should have known that kind of feeling would last longer than that week did. Blown away and barely breathing when Sunday came and it was over. Now she's got me twisted. Yeah, I'm still twisted like that old beach roller coaster. Like that old beach roller coaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pueblo, Colorado, as we get set for our Grand Champion Drive for Market Beef. We're going to introduce you to our second place winners in each of our classes first. Bring them in. Then we'll bring in the first place from each class. And then I'll introduce you to our judge, and we have a lot of stuff to go through before we get to our selection. So once again, welcome to those here ringside and those of you watching live on the internet right now. From the Market Heifer class, 1701, second place, number 205, Denton Wilbanks, Los Alamos, Colorado, Bent County, the weight 1185. And from the first class of Market Steer 1751, second place was 196, Cassidy Schofield, Rocky Ford, Colorado, Otero County, the weight 1130. From class 1752, second place 165, Hallie Lewis, Iliff, Colorado. Logan County, the weight 1190. From that next class of market steers, 1753, second place 231, Chase Williams. Larimer County, Johnstown, Colorado, weight 1263. From class 1754, second place, exhibitor 117, Bailey Erickson, Gailton, Colorado, Weld County, the weight 1295. From class 1755, second place 132, Echo Bartels, Loma, Colorado, Mesa County, the weight 1320. From 1756, second place was 188, Justin Fannebecker, LaSalle, Colorado, Weld County, the weight 1349. From 1757, second place was 174, Cash Pratt, Pueblo, Colorado, Pueblo County, the weight 1355. And that last class, 1758, second place, exhibitor 200, Peyton Volishin, Craig, Colorado, Moffett County, the weight 1449. Our judge once again from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. We'll tell you more about him in just a moment. We'll give him just a little bit here to take a look at all those second place finishers in those classes. He's the cow herd manager for Griswold Cattle Company. Grew up in Illinois exhibiting cattle as a junior exhibitor at the state and national levels. He's worked in the purebred seed stock industry for 25 years with numerous breeds of cattle. He's judged hundreds of livestock shows across the United States, Canada, and in Europe, including national cattle shows in Denver, like the National Western, Kansas City, and also Louisville. He and his wife, Ashley, who's up to my left, and son Sam run a small herd of Hereford and Maine cows along with a show goat herd around Stillwater, Oklahoma. Once again, our judge for our grand champion lineup, Perkins, Oklahoma's Josh Taylor. Now we'll bring in those first place finishers from each class. From class 1701, Market Heifers, exhibitor 219, Cade Schweitzer, Wellington, Colorado, Larimer County, the weight 1050. First place from 1751, Market Steers, 155, Gage Kalkak, Craig, Colorado, Moffett County, the weight 1150. 1752, first place was 07, Lear Hansen, Burlington, Colorado, Kit Carson County, the weight 1223. First place from 1753, exhibitor 232, Colby Weber, Amherst, Colorado, Phillips County, the weight 1235. For 1754, first place, Stetson Gable, exhibitor 123, Gailton, Colorado, Weld County, the weight 1287. From 1755, first place, 224, Leah Richardson, Yuma County, Yuma, Colorado, 1308 was the weight. From 1756, first place, 185, Jed Sidwell, Gill, Colorado, Weld County, the weight 1349. From 1757, first place, Emma Richardson, Yuma County, Yuma, Colorado, 1380 was the weight. And the last class, 1758, first place, Kinley Lewis, Iliff, Colorado, Logan County, the weight 1445. For those folks here at ringside, how about this lineup out in front of you for the grand champion Market Beef for the 2020 Colorado State Fair? Well, what a lineup there is. I'd like to thank the Colorado State Fair Board of Authority and the commissioners. We lead off with our Colorado Department of Agriculture Commissioner Kate Greenberg. The chairman of the committee is Paul Youngs, Vice Chairman Lois Tocktrop, Secretary Jenny Vietti, Miguel Baca-Berrigan, Renee Brown, Mike Cafaso, Brian Copham, Diana Coram, Jeff Mandarich, and Michael Schlipp. Thank you to our State Fair Board of Authority commissioners. How about a big round of applause for them? They're listening over in the other room. Give them a big thanks. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here, folks. Also want to thank Colorado State Fair General Manager Scott Stoller and the entire livestock department, Robin Toft and the entire crew. Thanks to the crew to my right, keeping me on track with all our classes. And definitely want to thank our sponsors for our Junior Market Beef Show, ADM Animal Nutrition Incorporated, Colorado Cattlemen's Association, Colorado Cattle Women Incorporated, Colorado Livestock Association. Now, the grand champion Market Beef will get a belt buckle and a trophy sponsored by the Colorado Livestock Association. There's also a traveling trophy from the CSU Animal Sciences Department, a banner from the Colorado State Fair, a clipper box from ADM Animal Nutrition Incorporated, and a quart of Luberson Livestock. The reserve will receive a belt buckle by Zoetis, trophy by the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, and a banner from the Colorado State Fair. There's also a cooler by ADM Animal Nutrition Incorporated and a quart of Luberson Livestock. So thank you to all of our sponsors for the Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Market Beef. Once again, the official livestock photographer for the Colorado State Fair and all the livestock shows is Beverly Englert Photo, Beverly Englert Photography. You can go to beverlyenglertphoto.com to view and purchase pictures online for the Market Beef Show, yesterday's Market Hog Show, and 2 days ago, the Market Goat Show. So that's beverlyenglertphoto.com. View and purchase pictures there, and they have done some amazing work. If you get a chance, go check out beverlyenglertphoto.com.
Well, an awful nice way to end. Once we get them all back out here, I can't be more pleased with the way they all lined up, and when you get them out here, just how many just awesome steers there are out here. I commend all these exhibitors, all the families, all the breeders, and everybody that helped them get these cattle to this point. I know it's been a struggle. I mean, with the way 2020 has been working out, it's let's just face it, it's sucked so far. And to have the dedication and the resilience to keep working on these cattle, maybe not knowing if you were going to get to have a show, but you did. And the reason why you did is because there's a lot of people up here and there's a lot of people in the back that fought for that to happen. So if you would, one more time, let's give all them a nice big round of applause. It's amazing how the ag community and the livestock in particular have come together over this summer to provide a lot of kids for a lot of shows. I've had the fortune to be able to go out and judge a few of them before now, and just the level of dedication that it takes for all those volunteers, and you know, and they put in tireless amount of hours to make it all happen, not knowing if they were really going to get to be able to do it or not because of the way circumstances worked out. And it kind of, the whole situation kind of reminds me of a story. I'll make it real quick because I'm sure you don't need to hear me talk a whole lot, but I told this one time thus far in my judging career in San Antonio a couple of years ago. My son had one of his coaches on his baseball team that tragically passed away, and he was actually out at the FFA barn feeding hogs one night and had a heart attack. He had told his son and written on his son's tennis shoes the words, "Don't stop on 6." And that comes from a story that he learned at church about Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. When Joshua took his massive army to the walls of Jericho, they were so tall that there was no way, they were impenetrable. They couldn't figure out how to get around them. And God came to Joshua and told him, for 7 days, I want you to take your massive army and I want you to walk around the entire city of Jericho right up against the wall. So Joshua did what the Lord told him to do. And after the 6th day, Joshua's thinking, well, I don't know what we're accomplishing. We're walking around the wall, and that's all we're doing. We're not making any progress. But he stayed strong to his faith, and he put his head down, and he kept pushing through no matter what the circumstances were. And then on the morning of the 7th day, he got ready to lead his army around the wall again, and the Lord came to him, and he said, now today, when you walk around the wall, I want you to blow your trumpets as loud as you can. And when they did that, the walls came tumbling down. So it's with that message that sometimes you just have to keep your head down and keep plowing forward, no matter what the circumstances are. Believe in your faith and believe that God's going to have a hand in your life on down the road. Much like He did, He granted us the opportunity to be able to come out here and show cows, which is a blessing in and of itself, but it's more of a blessing for these young kids. And so there's no better way, everybody's always said it, there's no better way to raise children than within the ag community, whether it's showing cows or doing ag mechanics or welding or whatever it is. And it's because of that, because what the world needs right now, folks, is dirtier fingernails and cleaner minds. And this will get that dirt underneath their fingernails and clean their mind in the spirit of just wholesome competition. And regardless of what you think about the lineup, I think it's awesome. I think there is absolutely several different ways you could go. We've got a middle trio, 4 steers right here that came out of these classes that are just magnificent. Maybe some things you could certainly change. I think they just pattern up extremely well, all four of those black steers in particular. You get down to the last three classes, some bigger framed, longer sided steers that have just a ton of good in them throughout. You can do a lot of things. I'm going to go show you the one that I like today. I hope some of you agree. I know one person's going to agree. If you would, when we do that, let's give that exhibitor a big, nice round of applause when they get that slap, because it takes a lot to get to this point, and I commend everybody here within this building today. So congratulations to everybody. It's been an honor and been a privilege.
Once again, those comments from our judge from Perkins, Oklahoma, Josh Taylor. And your grand champion for the 2020 Colorado State Fair comes out of class 1757, Market Steers, 181. How about a hand for Emma Richardson, Yuma County, Yuma, Colorado, the weight 1380. That'll bring Cash Pratt, 174 from Pueblo and Pueblo County into consideration reserve, the weight 1355. And your reserve grand champion for the 2020 Colorado State Fair comes out of class 1756. That is Jed Sidwell, Gill, Colorado, Weld County, the weight 1349. Congratulations to all our participants in the grand champion lineup and all of the ones that showed today. On behalf of the Colorado State Fair Board of Commissioners, they wish you guys all the best. Safe travels home. Thank you guys for helping keep your masks on and all that good stuff while we're here. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock start time, Market Lamb Show. Market Lambs, 1 o'clock. Thanks to our judge once again, Josh Taylor, Perkins, Oklahoma. Thanks to Sidney Wilkinson, Sarah Shields, Eric Toft, Kenny Burns, and the entire staff up here helping me. Appreciate it very much.
I can almost see that barber dancing. I just dream, keep on being where I am. I just dream, keep on being where I am.
I took 2 weeks vacation for the honeymoon. A couple tickets all inclusive down in Cancun. I couldn't get my money back, so I'm in seat 7A.
I'm getting drunk on a plane. I bet the fella on the out thought I was crazy, 'cause I taped your picture to the seat back right beside me. Now I've got empty mini bottles still in both our trays. I'm getting drunk on a plane. Buying drinks for everybody but the pilot. It's a party. Got the 737 rocking like a G6. Stewardess is some sexy leaning, pouring coke and whiskey. Told her about my condition. Got a little mile high flight attention. It's Mardi Gras up in the clouds. I'm up so high they never come down. I'll try anything to drown out the pain. They all know why I'm getting drunk on a plane. We had this date marked on the calendar forever. We take that new red limo, airport ride together. I feel like a plastic groom alone there at the top of the cake. So hey, I'm getting drunk on a plane. Buying drinks for everybody but the pilot. It's a party. Got this 737 rocking like a G6. Stewardess is some sexy leaning, pouring coke and whiskey. Told her about my condition. Got a little mile high flight attention. It's Mardi Gras up in the clouds. I'm up so high I may never come down. I'll try anything to drown out the pain. They all know why I'm getting drunk on a plane. On my way home, I'll bump this seat right up to first class, so I can drink that cheap champagne out of a real glass. And when we land, I'll call her up and tell her kiss my ass. 'Cause hey, I'm drunk on a plane. Buying drinks for everybody but the pilot. It's a party.